the speakers to open up their video so that we can see each other, and hopefully, Gisela, you can make the everyone look at the same size. Because now I think Nick is in the middle. So I don't know if there was a question before that came in, and it was more, and I think it's interesting to cover, and that's mainly I think for Juni and Pioneer, is how do you do a credit check? So how do you verify that someone is actually a decent seller?
So at Juni, we have a fairly simple onboarding process where you basically prove identity and UBO. It's a 5-minute process, very simple. And then when it comes to applying for credit, we look at some of your historical sales, your historical financial performance, and how much credit you're applying for. And that's all automated through integrations. So you just integrate on the Juni platform, and we do the check in the background as you sign up, and we can give you instantly how much you're able to borrow and as credit.
Oh, wow. That's impressive.
Yeah. So similar story for us, really. KYC, AML checks are take normally 24 hours for us to approve an account officially. If there are advances that we're offering as part of that package, then we'll also have an API which connects with, let's say, Amazon in this example, and we're able to then lend based on like what your average disbursement level is. But yeah, in terms of documentation, standard documents in line with director passports, matching company information, address, all those sorts of things. And then we have integrations with other providers that will then double check that. And then we'll also need to see things like storefronts or like proof of website, something like that to back it up as well.
Awesome. And so the whole purpose of this webinar is to educate everyone about everything that comes in with the supply chain. So finding a product, shipping it, paying it, making sure you get the financing, get sure that the taxes are all done. So it's really unique to have this group of experts in one room and to be able to answer all your questions. So please do drop a question if you have any. I prepared a question for, especially it's now 1 year ago that the new VAT rules started to come into place. Especially for the dropshipper part that has a big impact. So maybe Bryce and Nick, what do you see have changed in the last year when it comes to these new VAT rules that have been implemented in Europe?
Let's actually Bryce open because they offer the OSS. Actually, dropshipping is a service that we've been offering recently, so probably he can give you more insights for that, and then I can talk from our side because most of our sellers are actually selling on multiple markets. So dropshipping is a new service that we're offering since the last few months. So of course, if you Bryce don't want to talk, I can start with the big guys.
Yeah, Nick, you can actually go for it. I think you can obviously give the broader explanation, but
okay, sure. So let me start. And so the bottom line is that it's easier for sellers. Actually, the regulation is saving sellers money because before you used to have a different threshold per market. And I used to sell in Europe for 10 years and I knew it from experience. I even don't remember them, like 100K in Germany, 35,000 euro in Bulgaria, like 50 whatever. So it was a nightmare. And HealthTax software is actually managing that, and it was notifying seller when they must register. So right now, you have the option. Once you hit like 10K, let's say if you're based in the EU, you set up the VAT in your home country, you start selling, you hit 10K to, let's say, France or Spain, whatever, you can opt in for the OSS. You set up the one-stop shop in your home country and you're allowed to sell and make deliveries to everybody across Europe. So instead of doing multiple VATs, you just need one VAT, one OSS. So you're saving money, and you can, so I obviously know for small sellers, it's much better now. And by using this new option with like less bureaucratic bullshit, sorry for my language, you can actually start testing the European markets. And by doing that, you can see, okay, my sales are doing great in France, or let's say in Italy. Okay, then it makes sense to set up like logistics there. And once you set up the stock, then you would need to have a second VAT or third VAT. But you're not required to do it from the beginning. If your sales are great, you can make a decision you can set up the stock. If not, you can fulfill your orders from one country. And this is for the EU-based companies. For non-EUs, if you're non-EU, you can select a country in Europe. Usually we recommend Germany because there is no fiscal representation. You use that as a base. One VAT there, OSS, and you start selling across Europe. And the same procedure. You start testing the markets. Where it makes sense, you set up the storage as well, so you can make quicker deliveries. You can sell it cheaper to consumers, but it's much easier, from my point of view. For companies in the industry, actually, we make less money, but actually for the sellers is better. And that's the idea for, I guess, this why Europe, are actually doing that, because it's easier for companies to expand. We're still far away from the USA, but probably is one step ahead in that aspect about the expansion in Europe.
Yeah, and if I can definitely add from our perspective, obviously, we have seen it's a lot easier, especially under the IOSS, for people to drop ship all around Europe and not having to comply with, as Nick said, the certain thresholds. It basically allows you to trade freely, obviously under that 150 euros mark. And basically, it's basically the EU allowing free trade for non-EU based sellers, which is a great thing for both foreign sellers as well for the local market within the EU in terms of getting better choice for their end customers. That's for sure, and more choice, more options, as well as cheaper options when people are sourcing, for instance, from China.
Yeah, it took some time for everyone to figure out how to deal with it, but I think now everything has standardized, and then people see the value of actually scaling, because that's in the end the aim. For maybe a question for Shawn, you mentioned in your presentation that you integrated with TikTok Shop. What can you explain a little bit more about what's the value of TikTok Shop and what other plans you have for integrations to facilitate more sellers?
Okay, so thanks for asking. So we foresee that like TikTok, so a lot of people start to test the product and test the ads on TikTok, and as you can see that like TikTok has a very large audience globally, and also like especially for the Generation Z. So it's the consumption power that in the future. So we see that like more and more people start to selling on TikTok, but now like only UK and Southeast Asia that they have the TikTok Shop. But I heard some news that like they're gonna launch French store, they're gonna launch a US store in a certain period of time, like in 2022. So which means that like more and more global sellers can actually own their Shopify shop, Shopify store. Oh, sorry, TikTok shop, TikTok store. So that's why that we integrate with TikTok Shop to enable the streamlined process, as the people that like did with Shopify to be able to synchronize products to their TikTok Shop, to run the ads, and when the orders comes in, that there will be a strong backend to help them fulfill the orders. So that's what we are aiming for. So at the first stage, we have finished the integration, and later on we will launch customized feature according to the API or also according to the customer need.
So after hearing all the speakers, Shawn, do you have any question for? I know you were previously involved with Pioneer in China, so you have a very strong background when it comes to financing and payments globally. So do you have anything that came to mind when you like listened to all the presentations that came by?
Yeah, so yeah, I have a question for Tom. So I was wondering that like because Pioneer offers working capital or factoring solutions for Amazon sellers, for Wish sellers. So is there any plan for Shopify sellers, or potentially like all these, how to say, like website owners, shop owners?
Yeah, for sure. Good question. So currently, nothing's been rolled out. I believe Wish has just been launched. So now that opens us up to Walmart, Amazon, and Wish. As far as Shopify goes, I know that it's in the pipeline, but in terms of like release date, I've not been told of anything. So I'm sure it will come in the near future.
Ruben, maybe for you as well, is that on the agenda to facilitate more Shopify sellers with their financing and?
100%. So working capital and inventory financing is on our roadmap, and you can see that online. And one of those are for that, and that includes Shopify.
Awesome. When it comes to I was at a payment fair and in Dubai and also in Malta, and everyone was asking me, can I also pay my orders with crypto? So I also wanted to ask you, this is definitely a thing that's in the mind of sellers. So I wanted to get your feel. Is that some direction? This is for anyone that thinks it's fit for them to respond. Is there any development on towards crypto, towards fintech, or facilitating this kind of payment flow? I know it's not the great time for crypto, but it is some question that was on my mind. Yeah.
Actually, it's the best time for crypto. You buy when there's boot on the streets, no?
Depends who you talk to. Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, but I've been in crypto since 2014. I have a mining farm for Ethereum in Europe. So right now, I mean, we actually not mining because the electricity is more expensive, but I've been buying, since it dropped, But I know my lesson now. The last time I bought in 2017, it was like 17. So I held till free, and so obviously it's great time for me. Not for everybody, but whoever has experienced the bear market before, it's cool. For the rest, I don't know.
And for sellers,
for sellers, by the way, I'll tell you a story. Since I have like so many partners, like 10 of the aggregators are clients, and I've been telling them, hey guys, let's set up a payout in crypto for buyers and referral fees. And that was like a year ago. And most of the aggregators told me, okay, Nick, I spoke with the management, I spoke with the investors, they don't want to touch anything in regards to Bitcoin or whatever. And then I had a webinar in December with 3 parts. I said, okay, I am Nostradamus now. I'm gonna make a forecast for next year. One of the aggregators is gonna start offering crypto because I have inside information that one of my guys were about to do that. But the funny thing, Elevate brands now started offering crypto payouts, and then everything starts going down. And my guys, now my aggregator partner, they said, okay, these guys are the first, we're not going to do it. And actually they got lucky because obviously, the crypto started plunging, and it's not a good time, right now. So it's always about timing. But to be honest, if the crypto, like stable coins, they're actually not a good example right now because there is few. Actually, I forgot this name, Luna coin. The guy just. So honestly, no, it's good. Technology is good, but in regards of using that for payments, I don't know. They're very unstable. Probably Tom and Ruben can share more, but I don't.
I was just about to say, so I agree, Nick, that the technology is good, and I think the payment rails that come with crypto make a lot of sense. And if you use the right collateralized stable coins, which are actually stable, you mentioned an example of a stable coin which collapsed, but things like USDC or fully collateralized stable coins, it's a very, very interesting technology. And it's a fantastically efficient way to send payments cross-border. And it's something that's not only is it fast, but you can also apply metadata to it, right? So you can make customized payment transactions if this, then that. And we see a lot of demand from our customers of this type of payment rails and solutions, particularly to suppliers, whether that is in Asia, US, Latin America, wherever it is. So long story short, crypto-enabled payment rails and peer-to-peer payments is something that we're actively looking at.
And by the way, there is one company like Ripple, I'm sure you've heard of them. HRP is I think the token. It was a big hype in the 2018. And then, and I think they were advertising themselves that actually they can transfer it very quickly, very cheap. You guys are in the fintech, so probably know more about that. But I remember that was actually idea there, to make transfers internationally without the bank. So
awesome. We're running out of time, I think, but does anyone have any question for one of your peers that you would like to ask? If not, that's then one last question I have for Bryce, because that's really bothering me, is which country in the world is the most regulated when it comes to import clearance?
Sure, that is a great question. In our experience, as good as as good as Germany is from a tax perspective, at customs they can be very difficult. So I know Germany is. But my answer would probably be Germany, just from the fact that you need an indirect representative to clear, as well as an imports of records. So definitely probably Germany, but it's weird because once you get through that in Germany, there's untapped potential for a seller within that market. So it's getting through that initial barrier, and then once you're through that and you have those processes solidified, you should be good to go in the future.
Yeah, actually, just to add something, because most of our clients go to Germany. The issue with Germany is that their accounting, bookkeeping companies, softwares, they're very old-fashioned. I know even though 40% of our clients are from Germany, I've been searching for like an e-com tailored like bookkeeping like partner, and it's hard to find one. They use, they're very old-fashioned. So this is a big issue there. They don't want to change some of this stuff. And like Bryce said, once you overcome that, is great. But until you overcome that, and it's weird why they're not actually changing. I have no idea.
That's funny. You both use the Germany as an example, and actually it's also the trickiest one, but it can actually open door once you get over that hurdle.
Exactly, because it's a big market, second after Amazon.com. So
yeah.
So
I think Japan seems to be another one that I know a lot of people struggle with. I don't know whether you guys assist with Japan, Bryce, or not.
Japan, from our aspects, is becoming a lot more popular. For us, I think we actually we have quite a nice contact in Japan that allows us there. But I know from a tax perspective, it's also quite complicated. You need your JCT as well as, I think, for import perspective, you need an ACP number. So I think it's just about I want to say the foreign aspect of it that people might be scared of, because it's not as common as obviously as the EU. But if you know the right processes to go through there, it's not as hard as people make it out to be, is what I'd say.
Sure.
All right, that's the end of our webinar. Thank you so much. It will be published on YouTube later, probably tomorrow or later this week. Really want to thank you all. If you have any questions about one of the speakers, reach out to them or reach out to us and we'll get you connected. Thanks again, and I wish you guys a great day, and hope to see you on the next one.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Simon.
For participating in this
Thank
event.
you.
Bye. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.